Hey guys, Mitch here from The Natural Connection, and I'm going to tell you today how these 3 items can tell you how to train for surfing. That is one of the biggest questions in surfing, like should you train for it, should you just surf, what's the best way to train for it? Maybe you have tried some weights and then they felt good for a while, but then you felt it got you slower, or you tried yoga which felt good for a while, but then you felt too loose and you're basically unsure of what to do, and there's no clear information because really there's not. So I'm going to give you some clear information about it, about what's actually missing in your approach or in the general approach, what you can do to improve for yourself and how you can get yourself on track with your training for your surfing. Alright, let's take 3 items. I'm going to let a little bit of air out of this one. Okay, so we have a half filled up Pilates ball, yeah? Half filled up Pilates ball. We'll call this one's really kind of loose, right? Let's have a look at what happens when I throw it down. Tiny little bit of bounce, but not much give back. Yeah, let's go to the other end of the spectrum. We've got a piece of my water bottle, still water bottle, which is really rigid. Yeah, it's holding a shape, but it's like rigidly holding a shape. Whereas this is not so rigid in its shape holding. In fact, it's not really holding a shape. It keeps changing. It's too malleable. I'm not going to throw it down because I'm in my house, but you get the idea. Not a whole lot of bounce. Yeah. Okay, let's have a look at a tennis ball. All right. Now, this has a good amount of tensegrity, meaning when I bend it out of shape, it can bend out of shape, but it can also quickly come back to its original shape, okay? And we see the nice bounce. So again, sorry about that. Okay, this is where you want to go, okay? You want to go towards a body that can quickly move in and out of a useful shape for surfing. But quite simply, that's where you want your surf training to go. Now, moving in and out of a surfing shape also means that you know what that shape should be for surfing. That's another topic, but your training should be able to move you in and out of a generally well-balanced position that works for surfing, okay? Which is essentially going to be more of a lunge than a squat. It's going to be more of a lunge. And I want to be able to hold my load through this leg. I don't want to move my hips around too much. I want to be nice and tall through my chest, seeing both hands. That's going to be a nice basic position to me to work on, okay? Now, how do we get to this? Okay, is strength useful? Is flexibility useful? Yep, they are all useful, although you can actually work on this we'll call it, what should we call it? Attribute. We can work on this attribute on its own as well, and that is where you need to start, okay? Because if you can't take your body in and out of shapes, right, and generally that means this area, obviously there's like, if you can't move your hip enough to surf, then that's another issue, but to start with, this area is usually the one that goes, people like falling around, moving around, and this area moves too much. Okay, whereas you need to be able to hold a nice shape here, not stiff, like not too tense, but you do need to be able to move in and out of this position. So if I do move, I can come back here quite easily. Now, yes, there are exercises as mentioned that work to build this. This is where you need to start. After that, you can build more mobility, flexibility, and strength, provided that you continue to build your tensegrity, or other people call it like stiffness, so you can hold load and tension through your trunk and then keep coming back to a good shape, so you don't overuse your strength and pull yourself out of a shape or close off one part of the tennis ball. It'd be like imagining if I like pinched down one side of the tennis ball and all the air went out to this side and then it didn't bounce back to that shape. That might be like overusing strength in one part of your body. Or if I poke a big hole through the tennis ball and it loses shape completely, it doesn't even know what the original shape was anymore. So this is where you want to go with your training to start with. If you don't have this, the other things are not going to work. That's why they do work for some people and they don't work for other people. The people that they do work for will have a good amount of tensegrity, or the ability to come back to a balanced position. I'm going to do another video on why some people are naturally good at surfing from a physical attribute standpoint, why they look different. Some people look like they're really strong and able and they're good at surfing. Some people don't and they're still really good at surfing. Again, it's going to come down to this and knowing they intuitively know how to move in and out of those useful shapes which build tensegrity in their body. That's for another video, but for today, there is a mini course beneath this which is free, which is going to teach you 2 of the basic elements of building this tensegrity, which you need. So jump on that, hit me up with any questions, and there's a few different ways of calling that tensegrity. It can be tensegrity or stiffness or trunk stiffness. They all basically mean the same thing. It'll take a bit to get your head around. It's something that I'm going to be talking about a lot, so don't worry if it doesn't all carry over right away. Just stick with the channel, and I'll keep telling you about these things, and you can learn more and more as you go. Oh, and use that mini course because you're going to learn 2 basic ones for it, and they're really, really important.